I mean, what can you tell us about the woman at the center of all of this?
Well, the more we learn about Olga, the more fascinating this story becomes. Tomorrow night at 10 p.m., you'll see how she navigates the modern American legal system with some old world intimidation.
Looking forward to that. Thanks, Tammy. We are following a developing story right now. Jealousy may have led to a
Marrying American men, then claiming abuse in order to get citizenship. Investigative reporter Tammy Leitner exposed that problem last night. Tonight, a closer look at the one woman who could be at the center of it all.
Russia is full of a lot of very young, beautiful women.
The girls on these websites are just real pretty. They're young and they're educated.
Both of these Valley men assumed their young Eastern Bloc wives married them for love. But shortly into the relationship, the women accused their husbands of domestic violence, an accusation that, if true, would guarantee them U.S. citizenship.
So my wife got the order making false accusations.
Both spent more than a year defending themselves until their charges were dismissed. And both say their wives were coached to lie by this woman, Olga Chaikeva. Olga runs the Shield Foundation, a domestic violence shelter with a questionable beginning. Have you ever heard of the Shield Foundation?
No.
Catherine Walling served on the board of the Alan Frost Family Organization, a foundation set up to trace her family's genealogy and fund missionary trips. The nonprofit went defunct during the 1980s, but in 2002, the organization was taken over. And what did it become? The Shield Foundation, complete with the nonprofit status.
As one of the last remaining board members, would you have been aware if another foundation was taking over your family foundation?
Yes, I would have known about it.
We called Olga and emailed her to get her side of things. When she refused to answer our questions directly, we went looking for her all over town. Still no answers. But she did have plenty to say back in 2006 when she contacted our TV station.
He just tried to kill me.
Olga's husband served 7 years in prison for domestic violence. And when his release neared, she wanted him deported back to Russia.
He spit in my face, and he promised me in Russian language that he will kill me.
One thing sources say Olga knows is how to use the media and the court system. Process server John Tavernero has served her with lawsuits and court papers more than a dozen times since 2003. And she's turned the tables on him.
So you don't even know Olga, yet she's taken out 2 orders of harassment against you.
She was trying to stop me, I feel, from being able to serve her in the future.
We discovered Olga has taken out orders of harassment in courts across the valley.
I sat in court listening to her tell one judge that she wasn't too familiar with the court system, but at that time she had probably filed somewhere around 15 to 20 different lawsuits in different courts.
Among the people she's taken to court, school teacher Yefim Toybin. He met Olga through a nonprofit he started to help Russian immigrants like himself. But when he stopped working with her, he was threatened.
I'll regret for the rest of my life, like for breaking the relations, and I will remember them. So, and I thought, you know what, I heard these kind of threats back in the former Soviet Union.
Yefim investigated Olga and the Shield Foundation on his own and published his findings in his Russian newsletter. She had him arrested for allegedly breaking into the Shield Foundation office, but he was never charged. And she served him with multiple orders of harassment.
It's pretty common to use our judicial system and law enforcement agencies back in former Soviet Union, okay, to solve your personal problem.
A technique that these men say nearly cost them everything.
She's gaming the system and ruining lives.
Once again, we want to point out Olga has not been charged with a crime in regard to the Shield Foundation. And at this time, there's no legislation in place to tighten or change the Violence Against Women Act.
Now, if these Russian women were married, don't they have citizenship that way? Why would they go to the trouble of going through the domestic violence thing?
Well, the way it works is they come over here on a fiancé visa, and essentially they have to get married within 90 days. But then they have to stay married for 2 years, and a lot of these women just aren't willing to wait.
And so with that domestic violence thing, that it ends the problem, and then they're a citizen.
Essentially, when they claim abuse, that's how they can then get citizenship.
All right. Thank you.
Thanks, Tammy.